One thing that must be really rough is like having a full-time job and trying to do bodybuilding on the background as well. Because I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm just somebody that goes to the gym often. And for me, it's kind of already difficult to like combine a full-time job plus going to the gym 6 times a week, plus dieting, plus cooking and everything else that kind of surrounds me trying to diet. And that becomes like a very exhausting thing to do. And then imagine if you're like a bodybuilder, if you need to like prepare for competitions and do things like that, and also on top of it you have to have a full-time job, that must be like one of the like least fun things to do like ever. Because first of all, keep in mind that you're going to have a strict diet, so that is going to fuck with your work performance, because now when I'm starving myself, like I am not having fun at work at all. Like I'm miserable all day long. And I have a relatively chill job. Like I am working in the office, so I don't really have to do any physical labor. I don't really need to move. I'm just basically sitting at the computer, just like typing stuff all day long. And that already becomes quite exhausting, and that becomes quite difficult because I would be just sitting there, and sometimes I kind of go into this like weird headspace where I'm not even thinking anymore, where I'm kind of like zombified basically, and I would just like sit there and stare into the wall for God knows how long. And that's like with me not really doing bodybuilding, just me doing a lot of like fitness related activities and having a job on top of it. But then yeah, once again, if you're doing bodybuilding, you have to prepare for competitions. You're probably going to use some kind of like performance enhancing drugs that are going to fuck with your head as well. Then on top of it, there's a diet, then there's training, then most probably if you still need a full-time job, you're not really all that wealthy. So that means that you're also going to have to do all the house related stuff by yourself. So that's cooking, cleaning, shopping, like everything else that you might need to do, doing your laundry and shit like that. So that becomes a very exhausting thing. So I don't really necessarily even know how people do it. Like you have to be like really driven and really motivated to do so those sorts of things. Because yeah, for me like this is already a lot. Just like dieting down while I'm still going to the gym while having a job, that already becomes like a very exhausting thing. And like it is really odd how like my personality changes when I'm dieting, because first of all, now when I'm starving, like I don't want to talk to people. I become significantly less communicative, and I just generally become like meaner, more closed off kind of a person. So I would just really be walking around the office like trying to avoid people and like trying to not like talk with people. And that becomes like an odd thing because people notice that. And like when people would talk to me, I'm obviously going to be friendly and I'm not going to be like weird, but like I would actively try to like avoid conversations. And people notice that, so they 100% think that I'm like being a weirdo or like that I don't like them. And I feel like that even sometimes affects the relationships in the office, because like people notice that I avoid them and they think maybe that I'm avoiding them specifically, even though I'm just kind of avoiding everyone. And that most probably leads to some people thinking that maybe I don't really like them just because I wouldn't really be very active to talk and I wouldn't really want to make small talk. Because also like in the United States, like if you live here, people are going to want to have small talk with you. So that becomes also like this like weird thing where, okay, like when I'm not hungry, when I'm on like a normal kind of like a when I'm in a normal routine, I'm fine. I can have small talk. I can talk to people, even though that's not necessarily my favorite thing to do. I'm still able to do that. But then when I'm dieting, like, yeah, no, fuck, I don't want to talk about weather, or I don't want to talk about like what kind of fucking dinner plans you have this evening. Like, I don't give a fuck. My dinner plans are like fucking dry ass chicken breast and like fucking carrots. So I'm not interested in what kind of like interesting and tasty food are you about to eat like in a few hours. Like, fuck off. Like, why do we even have to have this conversation? And also, like, I kind of noticed that now when I'm dieting, like, all my conversations are basically food centered. So, like, even unwillingly, like, when I would have a conversation with someone, like, I would quite quickly gravitate towards the topic of food, which becomes a very odd thing because it almost seems like I have some kind of food related fetish, because I would just like keep on rumbling on about food, which is obvious for me because like I'm fucking starving and like the only thing that I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis is food. But for other people, they just see me as like a weirdo that all of a sudden lost a lot of weight. So they're not even necessarily sure, is it that I'm dieting or maybe I'm just like doing coke all of a sudden, so like they wouldn't really probably understand what's happening there. And then also they see me like different. They see me that I'm not really as talkative anymore. They see me that I'm like constantly thinking about food. So most probably some of my coworkers have like very interesting thoughts when it comes to what is it that I'm up to. But yeah, dieting is interesting, and combining it with work or combining it with anything else becomes actually quite exhausting. So like, I feel like the best possible place to be in, and the people that are the luckiest are the people that can do their sport as a job, that don't really have to have an additional job, and they can just like fucking starve themselves, diet, train, and do whatever it is that they need to do without having anything else that they should have do in the background as well. So yeah, okay, about today. So today was a relatively chill day. Like, I wasn't really all that starving, but still, once again, I'm quite hungry constantly, so I'm constantly thinking about food. So the thing with this is like, you kind of like slowly get used to the fact that you're hungry, so you notice it a little bit less. So for an example, like when I started this diet at the beginning, like I was eating significantly more food than I am eating now, but I felt like so much more hungry because I'm just not used to like decreasing the food intake at all. But now when I'm at this point, like, yeah, I'm starving, but I'm also dieting already for like 4 months. So like, it doesn't really necessarily matter. And I'm like very used to it. So like, it does become a little bit less annoying. But now the problem that is occurring like now is the fact that like I'm just like constantly tired. So it's not even the hunger, it's just like the pure lack of energy because of the fact that I'm just not eating. So that is the problem that I'm kind of like stumbling upon now when I'm like really restricting the calories. So yeah, that is a little bit of an issue, but other than that, the day was relatively chill, just a day at the office. Then afterwards I went to the gym. The workout was kind of odd. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't amazing because I'm used to doing this with caffeine, and I'm not also consuming caffeine already for the third day. So the workout was okay. It wasn't bad. I wasn't really having difficulties or struggling with it, but I also wasn't really that interested in it. So yeah, other than that, I just went to the office, finished the gym workout, then came home, now ate my dinner, and I am going to be going downstairs to stretch to the office building gym that I have here, and then I'll already be going to bed. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow.